Let's head towards the terrace. After a little while, we come to a door on the left. The terrace lies ahead. Let's proceed onwards towards the terrace. After a short while, the terrace comes into view on the left. The cool evening air trickles in through the doorway, giving me a subtle reassurance. But let's proceed on through the hallway. After a while, the path splits into 3 directions. To the left is a descending staircase, while the path on the right extends into darkness. Another passageway lies ahead. Let's take the stairs. As I start to slowly descend the stairs in the dim light, I stretch my hand out in front of me to try and feel for something. However, all I'm greeted with is the moist feeling of these grimy stone walls. We've descended the staircase. To the left lies a huge stone archway, and to the right we can see a narrow path twisting into the darkness. Let's go through the archway on the left. Peeping in from the arch entranceway, Kid looks astonished. Wow, look at this! I heard about these things. They're called atriums. A large fountain sits in the center of this beautiful room. Looking across the way, another archway similar to this one leads off into darkness. Whoa, cold! Kid exclaims, taking her hand out of the water. Coming to her side, I kneel down and peer into the pond. Leaning over the beautiful marble edge, I too feel the chilly water. From deep beneath the surface, a number of fish start to swim towards us. These buggers look expensive. I can't seem to see the bottom of the pond. I wonder how deep it is. The fish are a little restless, splashing here and there. Suddenly, Kid tugs at my arm, jerking my hand out of the water. Before I can ask why, one of the fish leaps out, snapping at me. We scramble to our feet and take a few steps back from the fountain. Many other fish soon follow, jumping out of the water, snapping at us. A few land outside the pond. I kick one of them in the corner, watching it violently squirm around. It appears to be a piranha. More and more of them emerge from the apparently bottomless depth. Having gotten a fresh scent of the game, the piranhas start to splash around more viciously now and getting water everywhere. I wonder how many of these things could be in there. It looks like there are more and more of them emerging every second. Suddenly, a dark red liquid starts to erupt from the fountain. Kid leaps back at once. I'm shocked as well, staring dumbfoundedly at the erupting fountain. The gushing red liquid shoots higher and higher. The water level in the pond rapidly rises, taking on a disgusting red hue. Before long, the water level has started to overflow into the floor. A bead of sweat rolls down my brow as I realize that the room is about to fill with water. We might be able to make it to a safe distance before the piranhas reach us. Quick, what will we do? Let's head back towards the staircase. Come on, we're outnumbered! Splashing through the water, we turn back, heading for the passageway from where we came. However, a few of them manage to sink their teeth into me before I can get away. I kick off the last remaining few as I bolt out of this vile room. Phew, what a close call. That rat bastard! Whatever trick he's got up his sleeve, it won't stop us for long. We're coming for you, Lynx. While resting on the wall to tend to my wounds, I look up and notice something out of the ordinary. Hey, was this here before? Carved into the wall, a large marble sculpture of an intimidating face stares down at us coldly. It looks as though it's been sculpted by a fine artisan. It's very detailed. Its features are beautifully etched and barely eroded. It's a mouth of truth, Magil says. A what? A mouth of truth. The legend is that if you are given to lying, a mouth of truth will know it if you put your hands into its mouth. Oh, what a hard idea, Kid says, rolling her eyes. Let's see you do it, I say. Kid looks up worried, but after seeing Magil looking at her, feels a resolve and tentatively puts her hands into the mouth. However, after a few seconds, nothing seems to be happening. Hey, what do you know? Guess I passed the test. That can't be all there is to it. Ah, I know. Kid, how many pounds do you weigh? 104. Kid suddenly takes on a worried look, but before she can remove her hand, the marble set of teeth clamps down onto her wrist. Hey, you stupid face! What's going on? The white marble teeth gnaw from side to side, becoming stained with red. Damn it, let me go! Magil calmly offers an explanation from behind us. Without saying something truthful to the best of one's ability, a mouth of truth will never let go. Not hearing him at all, Kid kicks the stone face in a fit of anger. Let me go, you stupid face! I swear I'm gonna knock your teeth in! Then, as swiftly as it closed, the mouth opens. I crouched down to Kid, who's kneeling on the floor, rubbing her wrists. Well, I guess you weren't lying about knocking its teeth in. Course not, mate. I showed him good. Bloody stone face.
You didn't put anything inside the mouth, did you, Kid? Majel asks.
What are you talking about? No. I walk over beside Majo and peer into the mouth. There, behind its teeth, is a large pink tongue. I think there's some sort of an indentation in it, but I can't be sure. It's really far back in there. Maybe it wants us to put something on its tongue. Maybe that's the real test. Kit begins taking out her things. From in her pockets, under her shoes, and out of her hair, she gathers all sorts of personal effects. She stretches the pile of trinkets held in her hand out to me, smiling innocently. Guess it's my turn to face the test. As long as Kit's safe, I'm happy, I suppose. Wondering what the Mouth of Truth could possibly want, I reach for one of her accessories. Let's try using the hand-shaped plate. I take the hand-shaped plate. Its strange, contorted symbols give me a headache just by looking at them. Nervously, I reach in and place it onto the tongue. It's a perfect fit. Sliding it into place, I quickly remove my hand and back away a few steps. The huge wide eyes start moving around slowly, and a slight vibration can be felt from behind the wall. Something's happening. Something big. I just wish I knew whether it's good or bad. An odd sound escapes from the Mouth of Truth as its eyes continue to roll. I want to make a run for it. However, I look over and see the ever-fearless expression in Kid's eyes and stay my ground. Suddenly, the marble sculpture stops moving. I stare at it, wondering what's going on. Then, its tongue starts to roll around inside its mouth, while its eyes tilt further and further upwards until its pupils disappear underneath its eyelids. We hear the plate sliding down its throat, vanishing into the deep, dark depths of the mansion. What's happening?
Apparently a pious being such as this may roll its eyes from time to time.
The simple fact that Majel tried to make a joke just there made me stop and forget where I am for a second. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna lose another one of my things. I could've got a lot of cash for that, Kid says regrettably. Suddenly, over by the atrium, we start to hear some sort of latch being opened. And then, moments later, the sound of water draining echoes throughout the corridor. Taking a few steps towards the atrium, I see the red water has formed into a whirlpool and is flowing down to the pond. The piranhas are being washed away. What's the matter, little fishies? Not enough water? Aw, playtime's over, you nasty buggers. Come on, I'm dying to see what's past that fountain. Having crossed the atrium, eventually we come to a split in the path. We can either go left or right from here. Let's head down the left path. After a bit of walking, we come to an old-looking door with a brass handle. Damn it, another locked door. I don't get it. There's no smell of gold or nothing.
This leads to Viper Manor's catacombs,
says Majo hesitantly. He's right. Standing here in silence, I realize there's a faint scent of death in the air, and then, putting my ear to the door, I start to hear deep, tortured moans from far beyond. I jump back, looking at the door. Let's try somewhere else. Heading away from the catacombs, we eventually come to a split. Turning right heads back to the atrium, while ahead of us I can see nothing but a dark stone corridor leading off into darkness. Let's keep on going forward, though. After a little ways down the passageway, we come to a descending staircase. Let's take the stairs down. We slowly walk down the stairs, taking us deep below ground. It's as though we're descending further and further into an endless abyss. Once we reach the bottom, we come to another split. We can go left or right, but both paths look equally dismal. I think we should try the left path. After a little ways, we're presented with a sturdy set of doors. A wooden plaque has been hung above the door frame. Only one word is written on it. Armory. Armory, eh? The key to the catacombs has to be in here. Kit places her ear on the door. Not a peep. Let's go in. Someone is here, however. With a book in hand, a single goblin sits in a chair, humming to itself. A sweet aroma fills the room, presumably from the teacup sitting on the table before it. There's something different about this goblin. It doesn't seem hostile in the least. Looking up from its book, it examines us from behind its bifocals.
Ah, welcome. It's rare to have visitors all the way down here.
Too bad we're not guests, Kit shouts. If you want to live, tell us where the key to the catacombs is. And with that, Kit takes her knife and thrusts it into the desk, slicing through the tablecloth. The goblin remains docile.
Ah, you must be the elusive Kid. I so wanted to see you with my own eyes. We've all heard so much about you.
But before it can finish its sentence, Kid grabs the knife and hurls it through the air. The goblin sets his book down, now unreadable due to 7-inch blade protruding through it. It removes the knife and places it on the table.
Your reputation precedes you. You are quite a radical young lady. Nevertheless, it's a shame. I wanted to see how that novel ended up. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Esmold, it says, offering a simple introduction. Please, I do hope to keep my guests standing at bay. Come, sit, and we shall converse over tea.
My first thought is that it's poisoned. Despite my concerns, Magil sits down. Let's take a seat next to Magil. Trusting Magil, I sit down next to him. Surely he's got something up his sleeve. Looking at Kid, she truly doesn't want anything to do with this. She remains standing, keeping a vigilant eye on Esmold. Black tea is set for 3 at the table.
Ah, there we are.
After a moment, Magil takes the teacup and brings it slowly to his mouth. He takes a sip and then sets the cup back on the table. Esmold smiles.
Ah, Himalayan chimpanzee. I have not had this blend in quite some time, Magil says. I see. You are a gentleman of fine taste. I will have you know that not many of my visitors have known of this type of black tea.
Listening to their banter, I stare at my cup. Could it really be poisoned? Picking up the teacup, I bring it close to my mouth. It doesn't smell so bad. Delicious! I exclaim. I've never had anything like this before. I loosen up a bit, sitting back in my chair. Wait a sec, what's going on? My wounds, they're being healed! Looking over towards Kid, she seems to be enjoying it as well.
So, let's get down to business. Certainly the key to the catacombs has to be around here somewhere. Whether I remember where it is, however, that's a different story.
Is there something you'd like in exchange?
Something I want. Your life, perhaps,
he says as his eyes light up from behind his glasses. I grab my knife.
Oh, you misunderstand, young man. I do not wish to harm you,
Esmold says, noticing the sudden look of shock on my face.
I enjoyed chatting with the many types of visitors that we have in the mansion. Surely, as an adventurer, you must have plenty of interesting stories to tell.
Adding to this, he looks in my direction with a smile.
I look highly on unique stories and have been known to reward such storytellers.
Staring down at the dark liquid before me, I start to rack my brain for a really good story. Okay, I've got it. On one particular evening, a small girl walked through a dark, dreary forest. The girl suddenly came across a large beetle. Taking it back to her home, the girl painted the beetle from head to toe with a shiny golden paint.
A fine beginning, perhaps. Is that all?
No, one evening, while the girl was walking through the forest, she came across a beetle. She took it home, painting it with a shiny gold paint. The next morning, the girl went to town to sell the beetle. Claiming it was a good luck beetle, she showed it to many travelers and eventually sold it for an outrageous sum of money.
Yeah, Serge, and I'll bet the girl's name was Kid, wasn't it?
From beside me, chills run down my spine as I hear Kid question me in her coldest tone. I made it up, Kid, I whisper to her. Maybe she really did do something like that in the past. Glancing at her, I see her eyes start to cloud over. Then suddenly she starts choking me, wrapping both her hands around my neck.
How do you know about all this?
Kid yells, strangling me. From behind me, I see Esmold pull out one of his tea bags. Noticing it, she suddenly forgets all about me, her eyes lighting up at the sight of the tea.
Perhaps some of my precious black tea leaves can be used to prevent against ruckus in here.
Kid immediately snatches the tea bag.
It was a fairly entertaining story. I'm a goblin of my word, and as such, I shall give you the key,
he says, knocking on a certain spot in the nearby wall. A secret compartment opens from where he takes the key. He hands it to us with a smile on his face. Thanking him, we leave the room. Heading away from the armory, we come upon an upward staircase on the right. This passage also continues on ahead.